welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing potentially a very controversial video, and that is going to be my top favorite and my top least favorite characters in literature. I have 4 least favorite characters, and I think I have 5 or 6 favorite characters. Let me just count to make sure. I wrote a list down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I have 5 favorites and I have 4 least favorites. Funny enough, when I was going through thinking about what characters I wanted to put on this list, some of them came to me immediately. You know, I just know I think about these love or hate it characters all the time. So some of them just came to me. They're all females. So when I was sitting down to write this list, I realized they were all females. So my favorites and least favorites are all females. I don't know what that says, but here we are. I'm sure if I sat down longer, like this list could be longer. There are a lot of characters that I both love and hate throughout all the books that I've read in my life. But these are definitely the top of each. And I'm so sorry. I just know I'm going to offend a few people or ruffle a few people's feathers, and that is not my intention at all, but I just wanted to share my thoughts and feelings. Let's start with my least favorite characters. Okay, so in no particular order for any of these, we have Natasha from War and Peace. I don't necessarily love War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I really like Anna Karenina. I really like a few of Tolstoy's nonfiction writings. I like War and Peace. Like, of course I see the merit of it, but when I read it, I remember thinking, you gotta be friggin' kidding me, people. Like, this book is pissing me off. Like, that book pissed me off because I hated the majority of the characters. Now, a few of them I really liked. Specifically, I think her name was Maria. I liked the guy that Natasha was like in a relationship with in the beginning, like the good guy, right? Pierre was interesting enough. Like, I liked Pierre. Everyone else was a no thanks. Specifically, Natasha. Like, are you kidding me? She is probably, well, definitely, because this is my list, one of the most annoying characters in literature. I hated her. I hated reading her. I did not think that she had a good character arc at all. She just, honestly, she was just like a spoiled brat. And you know what? That's a theme among a lot of my least favorite characters in literature. I really just thought she was a spoiled brat that just wanted to do whatever she wanted to do. I really don't think she had, I mean, of course she had consequences. Like, everyone in that book had consequences. There was a lot of shit going on, you know? I hated her. I really don't think she had that many consequences for her actions. I thought she was a terrible character. Not a terrible character. I thought she was not a good person. I thought she was selfish. But she's like one of those characters, like one of those female characters that just annoys me to no end. That's like, oh, I'm just like innocently making all these mistakes that are really selfish and end up hurting a lot of people, but like I'm really actually an angelic, good person and I deserve good things. I'm like, you're not interesting. You're not interesting. You're not interesting. Go, leave me. I don't want to look at you. Like, I can't even stand it. My dislike for the majority of the characters in War and Peace really hindered my experience of that book. I do think Tolstoy's like obviously a great writer though. Like, I like his worldview. I like the point of the story. I should put that in there. So I'm not shitting on War and Peace. I'm shitting on the characters. But specifically, Natasha. Whoa, it's rough. That's a rough one. That's a rough one. Another one. It's pretty rough. Pretty rough. And this is the one I think I'm gonna get the most shit for. I really think I'm gonna get some mad shit for this one. I'm so sorry. We have Emma from Emma by Jane Austen. I know. Okay, so I've read 4 of Jane Austen's 6 full-length novels, and this is everyone's favorite, or the majority of people's favorites. This is my least favorite because I hate Emma. I hate Emma as a character. I think she's a spoiled brat. I think she's a spoiled brat. And honestly, I admire Jane Austen's characters, like her characterization. I really admire her writing. I admire her storytelling. I admire her ability to like create real feeling characters. Emma's a very real feeling character. I just don't like this book. I don't like her, you know? I don't like Clueless either, at all. Hate it. I hate the main character in Clueless. I also think she's just like a naive, spoiled brat that just like doesn't really have consequences for her actions, but like not legit consequences, you know what I mean? She's just like selfish, and she's like toying with other people, and she just doesn't actually have any problems in her life. And she's just like, woe is me, you know? People are really gonna hate me for this one. People are really gonna hate me for this one. I feel like this is the one that I think I could come back to someday and potentially have different feelings about. I could see that. So like, hold your horses in the comments, you know? But also say whatever you want. I just don't like, I do not like her. And I've read this book twice. I don't like Emma. There is a specific scene in this book which does almost endears me to her a little bit, or makes her seem like more of a real character, which again, I think that's just down to Jane Austen's fantastic writing and characterization. But the scene where they're sitting having a picnic, like the group of young people are sitting and having a picnic, and we have that one girl who's like kind of odd, or she's a spinster. She talks a lot. People think she's kind of weird. I forget her name, but she's like a very endearing character. And she's talking, and then Emma says something mean to her, right? You see that in the movie and you see this in the book. But Emma says something mean to her, and then you see everybody look at Emma like, you are such a bitch. Like, you are a terrible person. And then you see her kind of regret what she says, and she feels sad about it. That I will give her and Jane Austen specifically that scene, because I myself at times in my life have like said things that I really regret saying. I'm like, why did I say that? And I'm sure a lot of us have had things like that happen in our lives that you regret and you feel deep shame for, and it's kind of like a little bit of one of her turning points in this book. But still, I just feel like she's just such a pouty character. Don't hate me. Actually, it's okay. I don't know. There you go. Next of a least favorite character is from a book that I read this year. It's Mercedes from The Count of Monte Cristo. I didn't like Mercedes. I just feel like she was and you know what? She was like, had the potential to be such a smart character. Like, she was written to like, she had intelligence. She had some intelligence to her, I could tell, but like at the same time, I don't think Alexander Dumas really wrote any great female characters in this book, so I'm gonna chalk that one up to him just being a male writer at the time that he was writing. But Mercedes was really annoying. She was really annoying. Like, she was engaged to Edmond Dantes in the beginning of the book, right? And then he goes to prison, and then she, you know, she's sad about it, and then she ends up with that other dude. But she like really didn't like him in the beginning, in the cousin, and all of a sudden she's with him, and I don't really have anything specifically to say now. I just didn't care for her as a character, and she was rough to read. And even her interactions with him and the husband, with Edmond Dantes and the husband, once everyone was older, I just don't feel like she was super apologetic of how maybe she could have hurt him in his life. Overall, the whole of The Count of Monte Cristo was kind of underwhelming to me. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. But yeah, Mercedes is someone that I think about as just being a very bland, annoying female character who was portrayed, or who was intended to be portrayed as like the beautiful, angelic female character that could have really saved the romantic soul of a man, and she just wasn't. Like, she just wasn't that interesting. And I wish she had more to her. I really wish she leaned into the potential intelligence that was written into her character, because it was there. And that's also probably what kind of irritated me a bit about her character. Anyway, that's Mercedes. Okay. Last but not least, I think this one is kind of like a popular one to dislike, but also people also do like her. Anyways, it's Amy March from Little Women. She just annoyed me. I thought she was a spoiled brat. She just like acted like a brat, you know? And she wanted things to go her way. I just don't think she was super interesting. Little Woman, there are a lot of arguments for different types of feminism with each of the female characters. And you have to respect, I guess, like where each of them are coming from as individuals. So she's probably like, I can't hate her. I can't like hate her that much, but like, she annoyed me. And it's hard because I read Little Women. I read the book and I didn't enjoy my reading experience of the book at all. Just because of the way that it was written and the tone that it was written in. I don't know. I just didn't care for Little Women. And I saw the movie Little Women when it came out in like 2019 or 2020 or something. Loved that movie. I love that movie. And I saw the movie before I read the book. And I remember, so I kind of get confused with the portrayal of Amy in the movie and in the book, but I'm sure, I think it's like pretty freaking similar. Pretty spot on. But I remember I saw that movie with my grandma, and I remember leaving the theater thinking, I cannot stand Amy. I can't stand her. I couldn't stand her. She annoyed me so much. So those, and she also annoyed my grandmother. Okay, it wasn't just me, bro. It wasn't just me. But anyway, anyhowdy-hoo. Those are my top 4 least favorite characters in literature. Moving on to my favorite characters in literature. We have 5. Again, they are all females. So in no order, again, we have Clytemnestra from the Oresteia by Aeschylus, which is a tragic Greek trilogy chronicling the tragedy of the house of Atreus. So we have Agamemnon, who's the husband and the father. We have Clytemnestra, who's the wife and the mother. And we have Electra, Iphigenia, and Orestes, who are the 3 children. So Agamemnon is a famous dude who led the fleet of Greeks ships over to Troy. To then start the Trojan War. He's gone for 10 years. He comes back after 10 years. But to get good winds, to sacrifice to the gods before he takes his ships over to the shores of Troy, he sacrifices his daughter, Iphigenia, and he doesn't tell his wife, he doesn't tell anybody what he's doing, and the wife is really mad. She's really mad because he killed her daughter, and she's pissed. And while he's gone for 10 years, she plots his murder because she's mad. She's also sleeping, I think, with his brother. And I think power to you. That Agamemnon is a terrible dude. Like, terrible dude. And what shocks me just about, I'm not even going to get into the whole story in general and the context of all of it, but that book is like Agamemnon, specifically Orestes, the son, are like the heroes of the story, because Orestes then ends up killing his mother, Clytemnestra, to avenge his father's murder. I'm like, bro. So anyway, the craziness of the context of all of that aside, I love Clytemnestra. I think that she is such a strong female character. She's got motives. She's got, She's got agency. She has thoughts and powers and feelings, and I think she's justified, and she's so fascinating. She's so morally gray, and that is the good meat and potatoes, you know? Like, she really gets down and dirty, and I love her as a character. So Clytemnestra. Next, we have Dorothea Brooke. Dorothea Brooke from Middlemarch, which, oh my gosh, favorite book probably of all time. I love Dorothea Brooke. And I love the character arc specifically that she goes through in this book. I mean, she really grows up from being a young woman who's super earnest. She has all these youthful idealizations about her life, about what other people should do in life, about reform, about how she can make changes. And I do think she has a little bit of an air of superiority to people around her in the beginning of the book, but she grows, man. Her growth is phenomenal, and she is interested in learning about the world. She's interested in learning about things and history and politics of her place that she lives in, about helping people, and she just really, really observes life and observes people, and her growth is really the powerful, phenomenal thing. Like, she's humble. She's really humbled, and she accepts it, and she has such beautiful humility and I think honor, and I think she's a great friend to people. I think she's really wise and compassionate, and I love Dorothea Brooke. Like, please read this book. Like, such a great character. Oh yeah. So I would say Clytemnestra and Dorothea Brooke are my top 2 favorite. Like, those are top. And the rest of them are still favorites, but like not that peak of female characters. Anyway, next favorites. We have 2, so I'm cheating, but they're taking the place of 1 because they're from the same book. And that is Marianne and Eleanor. I think their last names are Dashwood. Yeah, Dashwood, from Sense and Sensibility. So we have another Austen. We have some positives going on here. I do really love a lot of characters from Jane Austen's books. Of course, I love Elizabeth Bennet. I also love her friend, who I'm totally forgetting the name of right now. It doesn't matter. The one that ends up marrying Mr. Collins. Love her. But that aside, specifically Marianne and Eleanor, and they are sisters. And in this story, it's about them, basically they lose their finances and need to find husbands, similar to lots of Jane Austen's plots. You know, they need to find husbands. They're both so different, but also pretty similarly led by their feelings. They're both so different, but like so beautiful, such great characters. And I feel both of them and see both of them in myself, which is why I love them so much. Yeah, so Marianne is super, she's dramatic, she's avant-garde, she's full of emotions and whimsy and passion and yada yada yada, and she runs off with her love and gets swept away by her first love, and she's devastated and depressed after that doesn't work out, and then she has this relationship with this really gentle, kind, older man. Anyway, I just really like her as a character. I think she's cute and kind of funny and also relatable, and she's passionate. And then we have her sister, Eleanor, who I would argue is like the main character. Yeah. She's the main character of this book. Who's just who is quieter. Like, she's quiet and she's humble and she's wise, and it's about her romantic relationship story as well. And I don't know, I just really like the both. If you haven't read this or seen the movie, I'd really recommend it. I love both of their characters so much. So yeah, that's Marianne and Eleanor. Okay, after that we have Jo March from Little Women. I love Jo. I think a lot of people love Jo. I think she's funny, she's spunky, she's also passionate. She's such an interesting character. She has dreams and ambitions, and she's a little bit impulsive, but also she is so well-meaning. And I think she's a great sister and a great friend, and she's just interested in life and passionate about life, and I really love Jo March. I also am referring to her in the book and in the movie, and I think that Saoirse Ronan did such a good job portraying her character in the Little Women movie, the 2019, I think, Little Women movie. I loved her relationship with Laurie, Timothée Chalamet, their friendship and relationship, and how I just, the scene in the attic, right, where in their house when she's like talking to her mother and she's crying about feeling so lonely, makes me cry. Again, I saw that, like I said, I saw that movie with my grandma, and when I walked out of the movie theater, I was also like, I hate Amy, love Jo. Like, I just love Jo. And again, my grandmother agreed. There you go. Last but not least, so this character is not from a classic novel. She's from the ACOTAR series. I wonder if you can guess who it is. It is Nesta. Ooh, I love Nesta. In the original ACOTAR trilogy, yeah, she was a totally different character than she was, I guess, at like the end of A Court of Wings and Ruin, so the third book. And her growth is awe-inspiring. Love it. I live, laugh, love it. I love Court of Silver Flames, which is her book. I just love Nesta. She's spunky. She's sassy. She's smart. She's smart. Like, she's very, very smart. She has a lot of, like, she's very untrusting. What is it called? Mistrustful? Distrusting? Whatever. She has trust issues. Love to see it. Like, relatable, you know? I love Nesta. I love her sass. I love that she's kind of an asshole. Like, that's what makes her character so good. It's because she's kind of an ass. But, like, justifiably. And she's also a great friend. And, like, you can see why her life has affected her the way that it did. Yeah, I love Nesta. I will say, in A Court of Silver Flames, I was kind of hoping they would, S.J. Maas would take her character and have it be more of, like, her power is in her intelligence and, like, her bookishness. But there was, like, that whole battle fight training scene, which kind of is just, like, that's just kind of an annoying thing that happens in, I think, every single fantasy book, specifically, like, romantasy or YA fantasy or whatever. That's not YA, but you know what I mean. So, whatever. It is what it is. But I really like Nesta. She's sassy. She's sassy and mean, but also nice. I love her. Yeah, love Nesta. So yeah, those are my favorite and least favorite literary characters of all time. Not intentionally all females, but there you go. Women are just more interesting. What can I say? What can I say? Not true, but I guess, I don't know. Don't hate me. But, like, also, you're totally welcome to disagree. I know a lot of you are going to disagree, and that's great. Like, tell me your thoughts, opinions, feelings. But, like, also, everyone's valid to their own thoughts, opinions, and feelings, you know? These are just mine. And I hope everyone's having a great time reading all the books that they're reading. But, yeah, tell me your favorite and least favorite characters, please. I would love to hear it. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys, as always, have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.